Welcome back to the S&T Football Podcast. Today we are talking about Super Bowl 60. Kicking off from Santa Clara, California, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. These two teams meeting again after a decade. As many of us remember, 10 years ago, or about 11 years ago now, Tom Brady defeated Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And that was one of the best Super Bowls that was probably ever played. Just unbiased from a fan perspective, that was a really good Super Bowl, very memorable. Everyone kind of remembers that game, the way it ended, with the Malcolm Butler interception at the goal line, of course. And now these two teams meet again, of course, with some new faces. Tom Brady obviously has retired. We have Drake May on one side, and we have Sam Darnold on the other side. Another great story as well for the Seahawks to be back here. So these two teams are a surprise matchup. I don't know if anyone really picked this matchup before the year. Would have thought these two teams would have met up. So it's very surprising for a lot of us, especially for me, even as a Patriots fan. So this one is going to be a really good one. I'm very excited. Can't wait for this Super Bowl to kick off next Sunday. Let me leave it at that. Tom, go ahead and take it. What do you think about this Super Bowl matchup right here?
I like how you didn't you were a little reserved there on the intro, but you know, Seahawks Patriots, we're gonna have a good one. I hope we have a good one, but honestly, as much as you're not going to like to hear it, I think the way the Seahawks have been playing game in, game out in the playoffs, Sam Darnold's got that experience. The only thing that I could see that it's this is Sam Darnold's first start in the Super Bowl. Now, technically, he went to the Super Bowl when he was on the 49ers. Now, he was a backup. So, I mean, take that as you want it, but he's been there, he's seen it. So I think that definitely helps him a little bit. On the other side, you have Drake May. This is only his third year in the NFL. And respectfully, he's kind of been carried by his defense throughout the entire playoff run. And also didn't really play the best competition, if we're being honest here. I mean, it's not like they went through a gauntlet where they beat like amazing teams. So I mean, there's that. I think I think that the Seahawks have been more battle tested, and they have also shown up more every game on the offensive side, especially where they are so balanced, whether it's a short pass, run, deep pass. They're playing well, mixing it all in. But another thing is that Super Bowl nerves, I should say, I guess, yeah, nerves would be the right word. Anxiety, I guess you could say. Same thing, really. All come into play, even with the coaches. So I think we're going to really see how good of a coach on the Seahawks side that they have offensively, defensively, head coaching wise, because that whole team is relatively new, not necessarily young, but this is kind of all their first time. It's a completely different team from 10, 11 years ago, obviously, because, NFL life span is short career wise. But I mean, at that point, it's kind of a toss up because this is going to be Sam Darnold's first Super Bowl where he's starting JSN. He's a young receiver. Basically, everybody else on the Seahawks offense, this is going to be their first Super Bowl. And then you go to the Patriots. Well, they have a head coach that has won Super Bowls as a player. So it's not necessarily his first dance with nerves and emotions and stuff like that. So I would say when it comes down to the coaching side, I think the Patriots have the advantage. Now, when it comes down to just pure talent on the field, I think the Patriots have actually kind of struggled a little bit coming into this. Like I said, they kind of had a easier route than most playoff teams have into the Super Bowl. But at the same time, like we've said, or like at least I know, like I've said all year, it's everybody's a pro. Everybody is playing their hardest, playing their best up to their own ability every single week. Playoffs, regular season, it doesn't matter. So, I mean, and the Super Bowl itself, it's like, I mean, it's usually a pretty good game. There's been a couple blowouts in the last couple years, but usually it's a pretty good game just because both teams basically are stepping onto an even playing field. And then another thing, I guess, where you might say the Seahawks have an advantage would be that it's in Santa Clara, so it's a lot closer for a Seahawks fan to travel there than a Patriots fan to travel there. But we all know anyway that the Super Bowl is just a who's who and what's what of celebrities showing up. Celebrities can't even get the tickets that they want. They have to sit with the regular population, as you would say. But going to be an interesting game. I think if the Patriots want to win this game, Drake May has to play like he did in the regular season. He has to get over his playoff, what some people will call a slump, and show up like he did every week in the regular season. Now, the Patriots also lost a couple rough games this year, a couple bad teams. And the Seahawks, on the other hand, I mean, they were pretty consistent week in, week out. Even if they did lose, it was usually to a good team and it wasn't a blowout or anything like that. So if we're looking at regular season resume, I think Seahawks win that over the Patriots, even though they both finished with the same record. Um, like I said, I think it's going to be a dogfight. I hope it is. But at the end of the day, I think Sam Darnold and the Seahawks with um, I don't want to say experience, but with what they have done so far this year into the playoffs, I think they're more battle tested. I think they're probably going to end up being more ready. But it's the Super Bowl, so it's going to be a toss up. But I think the Seahawks win, and I think the Seahawks win by. I'm not gonna guess a score, but I'm gonna guess they win by 6. Actually, no, I'll give you a score: 27-21 Seahawks. 27-21 Seahawks. I think the Patriots put together a good game plan, come out, and their offense is able to move a little bit. Maybe their defense or special teams comes up with a big player to put their offense in a good position to score. Um, but at the end of the day, I think the Seahawks are right now the best team. At the end of the regular season, I would have told you Patriots over Seahawks. But what we've seen over the last few weeks in the playoffs, I think I like the Seahawks over the Patriots. I hope it's not a blowout, but I think the Seahawks handle their business and think the Seahawks get a Super Bowl. Says on Mr. Patriot himself. Bring us home.
Good stuff there, Tom. Yes. What a matchup we have for Super Bowl 60. Sad to see that the NFL season is ending, the football season is ending. In total, college football is already over as well. So very sad for many of us college and NFL football fans around the world and whatnot. But very excited for this matchup. Yes, as a Patriots fan, so glad to see my team is back where I don't want to say we belong, but I mean, we just set the trend, for so many years to get to this game and, be competing for Super Bowl trophies. And I'm just really surprised that we made it back so quickly because I actually just saw this meme earlier where it was the Patriots talking to teams like the Browns and the Jets and the Raiders, and they were saying, "Hey, just rebuild, man." And the other teams were just looking like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean just rebuild? Like, why? How do you make it look so easy?" I don't know. I think at this point it's kind of Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft, the owner for the Patriots. I mean, he's really been the only consistent piece now. Now that we see Bill Belichick has obviously moved on, Tom Brady has retired and moved on. The only person that's still there is Robert Kraft, the owner. So it's got to be him at this point, right? Because he was there for the first Super Bowl back in 2001 against the Rams, and now he's here for his seventh appearance, or actually more than that, because the two losses to the Giants and also to the Eagles. This might be like 10 Super Bowls for him now. So I think Robert Kraft is kind of the answer to why the Patriots have had so much success. I mean, a lot of people are arguing, was it Bill, was it Tom? And I think all of us were wrong. I think it was Robert. I think it was Robert Kraft the whole time. So shout out to him. Mike Vrabel, the coach, you touched on it. Former player for the Patriots. He was there during their early runs during Tom Brady's career. Won a couple Super Bowls with them back in the day and back in the early 2000s. Now as a coach, he's in a Super Bowl almost made it with the Titans a few years back. I remember I talked about that in another episode. Almost made it to the with the Titans in the AFC Championship game, lost to the Chiefs, and now he's here with the Patriots and he's in a Super Bowl. I don't know if anybody has ever won a Super Bowl and or excuse me, won a Super Bowl as a player and a coach. I don't know if you know anything about that, Tom, because that was a really cool stat for me to see. Is like, wow, he's about to win a Super Bowl as a coach and as a player. Like that's pretty crazy to do that at the highest level. I don't know if that's ever been done before. Nobody's name really comes to mind when I think about that. So, that is a special opportunity for Mike Vrabel to do something like really, really cool, being an elite class for sure. Um, the Patriots and
Well, there is a couple.
oh,
So you have Tom Flores, Mike Ditka, Tony Dungy, Gary Kubiak,
mm,
Doug Peterson. But
Doug Peterson.
yeah,
Wow.
Doug Peterson was a backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's good.
So didn't really play.
That's crazy though.
But yeah,
I didn't think that list would have that many names. I mean, that's only like what 6, 7 names anyway. But
seven. Yeah, 6, 7. No, 7, 8. But technically 7. But yeah, no, it's a lot of them are kind of weird. Where it's like there's only a couple guys that actually, um,
we're like big time.
what? Yeah, like Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
but go on. But go on.
I think Mike Vrabel would definitely secure his spot in the Hall of Fame if he won this game because he was a very exceptional player as well during his time with the Patriots. Standout linebacker for them. He even caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl before, and that ended up being like a very iconic play that goes down in history. So for him to win one as a coach as well, I mean, you might as well give him the jacket now, right? So. Uh, very cool for him, and just grateful for him to be our coach because not saying not saying Gerard Mayo was not a good coach. You know, I feel like we kind of gave up on him a little early. I feel like maybe we could have gave him a little time to turn it around. But hey, Mike Vrabel turned it around immediately. So obviously it was an upgrade. And Mike Vrabel already had that experience, so it just makes sense. But uh, like I was going to say about the Patriots, you touched on it. Yes, a lot of people are ragging on the Patriots because they may have had an easier schedule getting here than other teams. Yes, I understand that it's not their fault. It's literally how the schedules are made. It's computerized or whatever. It's the luck of the draw. They just so happen to have an easier schedule. That doesn't mean they couldn't have got to this point anyway, though. That doesn't mean they could have still got to this point even if they lost a game or two more than they did. You know what I'm saying? But um, what I don't like is them ragging on us for getting to the Super Bowl after the playoffs started. Like, oh, we still had to win those games. Like, we still had to beat the Chargers, still had to beat the Texans, we still had to beat the Broncos. It's not like we just slid our way here. Nobody. I mean, we still had to play those games, and we still played one extra game than the Seahawks. The Seahawks had a bye. You know what I'm saying? So there's only one. There's only one bye in each conference now. So we had to play 3 playoff games in order to get here. The Seahawks only had to play 2. So I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. I think the Patriots have definitely earned their way here. There was opportunities for other teams to take them out. I mean, the Chargers, nobody could score in that first game. They had an opportunity to beat us there. The Texans started off fast, and just fell apart at the end. And the Broncos, unfortunately for Bo Nix, he was out, but I mean, they still had a chance to win that game as well. So, I mean, the Patriots earned their way here. So, got to give them props. Just unbiasedly, got to give them props for that. And on the other side, the Seahawks. Sam Darnold. I mean, what more can you say about the journey this man has gone through to get to this point? Going from being drafted so high to the Jets and then not looking like the guy that they thought he was going to be, going to the Vikings, going to the 49ers, going to the Panthers as well, and then finally making it to the Seahawks. And all of a sudden, it all just clicks for him. And here he is, where a lot of people thought he could have been, when he was first coming out of college and whatnot. So, just a really good story, a really good heartwarming story for him. Really, it would be really cool to see him win a Super Bowl and whatnot, just to show a lot of guys in the NFL, it can be done. We saw how Baker Mayfield turned it around, and he could only dream of getting to this point. You know what I mean? And Sam Darnold's here doing it. Those guys were literally on the same team at one point during the Panthers. So Really cool to see that for him. Of course, he's got weapons all around him. Kenneth Walker, JSN, as you talked about, AJ Barner, the tight end. Just really cool weapons around the Seahawks. They are a really flashy, exciting team. Big plays every single game. They just seem to have turned it on ever since the playoffs started. So they're looking like a really dangerous team. Now, they did have a tough time with the Rams. That was to be expected. Of course, a division rival playing them for the third time with the highest stakes, given that as well. But um, I feel like maybe the Rams kind of brought them back down to earth because after the 49ers game, they just kind of looked unstoppable. I was like, man, this team looks really scary. Like, I don't know if anybody's going to slow them down at this point. Well, the Rams definitely took it to them, pushed them to the brink. So maybe that kind of brought them down to earth. Not saying that's going to discourage them or anything, but maybe just kind of settle them down a little bit. So now that when the Super Bowl starts, it won't be such a they won't be such a overwhelming force that they look like coming out of that 49ers game. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to this matchup, I think this could be a really interesting game. I think that at first it could be like one of those heavyweight bouts where they kind of fill each other out at first. Two quarterbacks that are making their first Super Bowl starts, respectively. Obviously, Drake May is definitely a younger guy. Sam Darnold, more of a veteran, but still his first Super Bowl appearance. Uh, Different coaches making their first Super Bowl appearance as well. I mean, as coaches, of course, and then just young talent all around on both sides of the ball. The Patriots are a young team, and the Seahawks are a pretty young team as well. They got some veteran presence, but a lot of young talent that's brought these two teams to this point. So I think this could be a really good one. Could be a back and forth game. You know, of course, you know who I'm rooting for. I mean, it would just be amazing to see us win another ring. This would be ring number 7 for the Patriots to match Tom Brady. Win one without him and be able to match what he got. Because obviously, we know that Tom Brady leads all teams in Super Bowl rings. There is no team that has more rings than Tom Brady. So for the Patriots to match that, that would be pretty cool. Um, the Seahawks on the other side, they're trying to win their second Super Bowl. They have been to 3 previous ones, uh, lost to the Patriots before, beat the Broncos. A lot of people forget about that game because it was just such a bad game. It was over by the third quarter, 43-8 or whatever it was. Peyton Manning in that game. And then they lost to the Steelers back in like the early 2000s. So this would only be their second ring, I believe, the Seahawks. So obviously Seattle fans are clamoring for that. They don't want to lose to the Patriots again. Be like the Rams did and lose to them twice in the Super Bowl. So, high stakes on that side. The Patriots, this would just be a really cool add to the trophy case. But obviously, there's other teams that definitely desire that Super Bowl trophy just a little bit more, just because they haven't seen that kind of hardware before. So, um, you know, I'm gonna unbiasedly choose the Seahawks to win the game. I do believe the Seahawks at this point are the best team. Well, I mean, we're gonna find out, but I do believe they are the best team in the NFL. Not saying the Patriots are far behind, but they've just looked like a really complete team this entire season, especially since the playoffs started. And I just think that they might be able to edge it out. But this is going to be a really good one. I can't wait. The Super Bowl is always a very exciting time for football fans, and I just can't wait to get into it. But um, final comments, Tom. Any final additions to that?
I mean, as a betting man, I can personally, if anybody's still watching, I can tell them respectfully, I'm probably going to take the Seahawks spread, which as of right now is 4.5. So if that changes, I'll probably still take it either way. But my main prediction, I think Seahawks win by 6.
It's not a bad line. I think it's definitely going to be a close game. Could go either way for sure. But this game is definitely going to come down to the trenches, I think, because the Seahawks have owned the trenches in their side in the playoff run. They have just been beating up on teams, and that has allowed them to do whatever they want on offense. And then their defense has also been suffocating as well. The Patriots have kind of struggled in the trenches. They've been able to overcome, but they're going to have to hold up if they want to stay in this game for sure. So could be a really good defensive battle going back and forth, but I definitely expect some fireworks as well. Some really good football.